So good evening, Ravi, and welcome to the Digital Excellence Pharma Academy. It's wonderful to have you on the program to share about the book that you have written.
Thanks a lot, Anup. It's an absolute pleasure. It's an honor. And being associated with and being part of this prominent platform of Indian pharma industry, it's an absolute honor. Thank you so much.
Great. So I think you used the time of lockdown very productively to write a book, which is really wonderful.
Absolutely. That has been a wonderful thing which has happened to me. And very rightly pointed out, yes, lockdown has posed in many kind of challenges to all of us. And this was one time that a dream which was there in my mind for more than a year. And I thought, let me go for it and let me utilize that. I must dedicate it to my family, and who would say, okay, fine, Saturday, Sunday, you are done. You do whatever you want to do. And that really worked. That really helped. And a dream of authoring a book, which is a beginning, and I'm sure I'll be coming up with more. But yes, it got started. Absolutely.
Great. So let's dive in straight to your book, The Winning Wheel. So you have a great title to go on. And I think it would be, before we go into the book, it would be great for our audience to know a little bit about you, that you have worked as a sales professional, you have a host of certifications, 25 years of experience. And I think this has been one of the challenging periods for L&D professionals as a whole, because how do you train the field force when they can't see the doctor face to face? So I think it has been a wonderful effort by you to write this book down, and I hope that this winning wheel will turn for our friends in pharma to get their wheels moving. So Ravi, as I said, 25 years in the industry, 15 years as a sales and marketing, and now 10 years as a learning and development professional. So tell us a little bit about your journey in the pharma industry.
Thank you so much, Anup, for this wonderful question to begin with. Yes, whatever I am, it's thanks to pharma industry. I'll not just say in terms of professional front, but as well as in terms of the personal front also. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. I'll say that it's very enriching, full of learning, evolving. You've been very kind to already, share about me, about my journey of 25 years, and you summed it right. 15 years have been into sales and marketing. This was a duration where I worked with a leading multinational company and learning about the nitty-gritties of sales and marketing. And then it was my journey towards learning and development. That is last almost a decade that I'm in this space of learning and organization development. That has been a journey which I can talk about, giving me enrichment and adding a learning to me and evolving to me. But here I must say that this may be an external journey for me. When I say about my internal journey, Ravi Dangwal's internal journey, what internally happened to Ravi Dangwal in these 25 years, then I would like to sum it up in two sentences. And these two sentences, first sentence I would share and use is that selling is not telling. Now, it's a very old saying, but why do I repeat that? Because for a person who 25 years back, trust me, was an absolute introvert and he could sell well. So selling is not telling. And I could grow decently in my career despite being that person 25 years back who was introvert. So there definitely are ways and means, and we got to come out of that very typical saying or feeling, oh, yes, you speak well, you can go into sales. It's not like that. So selling is not telling is what my inward journey has been. My second internal journey or inward journey is also about the ability to appreciate diversity and unleash potential. Because in this 25 years, what has happened to me is that I was lucky enough to work in 25 different states of the country. I lived in 6 different cities for more than 1 year. And this all helped me in appreciating the diversity of culture. And while it began with appreciating the diversity of culture, it also went towards appreciating diversity of people as well. Because people have diverse abilities, and once we are able to appreciate those diverse abilities, we definitely are capable enough, and we can definitely unleash their potential.
So great, an inward journey and an outward journey. So the wheels have been turning for you for a long time. So tell me about your transition to training. You know, when people normally do well in sales, they grow in the sales position to sales leadership positions. How come you took a detour and moved into training?
Arup, I must say this is another wonderful question, because so far when we look into learning and development in the training industry or training professionals, it doesn't happen that you get a ready-made professional that from the day one you are a training professional. So you got to learn that field in a particular way, and the same journey happened with me also. But yes, when I look back, and when you talk about this transition period, I definitely, when I look back, I precisely am able to remember the time when it was my third year as a manager. I was ranked as best manager, a best manager award recipient. I have been within Pfizer, and I was rewarded with a trip to Dubai. And even after couple of months after this trip, somewhere I was feeling, and I was asking to myself that where is my satisfaction coming from, business development or people development? And every time the answer was people development. It's not that business development didn't I didn't appreciate it that, but then yes, the track of developing business through people development, and that people development per se was giving me higher satisfaction. And I was feeling that, and I was finding every day that this is where my purpose is, this is what will give me a more and higher passion. Now this passion was supposed to be converted into expertise, because just by having certain feelings and having certain emotions, if you go for a transition, it may or may not be a successful one. So this was a time for me to get certified, to learn about training, and to understand the realities, and the way you can add values. And that was a time that I felt of adding certifications to me, knowledge to me, and expertise to me towards learning and development. So I got certifications from ISTD. I am a NLP practitioner. I'm an emotional intelligence practitioner. Did my law of attraction practitioner course as well. And I did coaching certifications from ICF and the Global Coach Group also, which was all my journey, my transition phase of learning about how you can add value to people, or how you can build the capacity of people. Although I'll definitely say the journey is still on, because when I look back, what I try to learn, if I pick this law of attraction, it says that universe responds to you, and if you make sincere attempts, universe do responds to you. But I also learned simultaneously that even universe checks your seriousness, how serious you are towards your passion. And believe me, it happened to me that way. While I was into this transition period, and while I took my training roles, twice I have been offered roles within sales, and by some very trusted people. I have very high regards for them, that they recommended me for those roles in sales. They were quite high in terms of the remuneration which I was supposed to earn if I move into sales. But I guess universe was testing my seriousness, and there I took a call, because for me the passion of being as a L&D professional was giving me always a better satisfaction.
Great. I'm sure that your learnings will be very useful to our young professionals who are in sales. And this is one more pathway that they can take if they are passionate towards developing people. And I think it's wonderful that you move from being an individual performer to a role where you develop several individual performers and thereby contribute not just to your growth, but the growth of the organization and the growth of the individuals. And I really love this graphic from your book, The Winning Wheel. Tell us a little bit about your book and what are these chakras all about. As you already said, you had an inward journey, you had an outward journey. Very interesting concepts. Do tell us a little bit more about your book.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really very happy about my book, and you've been talking about that. That gives me furthermore excitement. And if I have to talk about my book, it's on manifestation of success. So what has been the fundamental cause or reason behind the book? When I try to look back, I can recollect my learnings when I did my NLP practitioner certification, and my NLP guru has been late Dr. David Lincoln. And especially the two principles that he talked about, and I learned there. I definitely find them as the foundation stones for my book. And Dr. David Lincoln has been a wonderful person, and I'm sure wherever he is today, he'll definitely be adding a lot of value the way he was adding value while he was there with us. Through my association with Dr. David Lincoln, the first NLP principle which really impacted me and is one of the foundation for this book is NLP principle says that perception is projection. And that is how we see the world, and that is how we see ourselves, and that is how we aim for certain things. Dreams we all have, but dreams do not become a reality. We do hold ourselves, we do restrict ourselves, we do not share about our dreams, and it's all because of certain perceptions. We all of us, we live in certain perceptions, and these perceptions are our projections. And it is all about utilizing certain resources. Many times I have certain dreams, but I say no, it cannot happen because of this reason, that reason. I'm not having this, I'm not having that. Its perception is projection. That perception which is there in my mind is becoming my own projection, and this is how I look forward to. So that is one foundation as far as my book is concerned. Another NLP presupposition says that there are no unresourceful people. There are only unresourceful states. And that's all about the drive that we have to chase our goals. The fact remains that all of us as individuals are blessed with some or other very unique ability, while all of us also have some or other very distinct challenges. The point here is, how do I take forward? How do I take or chase my goals? Am I every day telling myself that, no, I'm not having sufficient resources? So it's not about, we are not unresourceful people. We are only into unresourceful states. So this books, in a very simplified manner, tries to present all possible resources, whatever resources are there. There are certain resources which are very strong to drive our dreams into reality. These are internal resources. Simultaneously, there are external resources also. And in the very first chapter of this book, I have tried to touch upon this particular part to understand resources. Many times, what we are doing is that we are either using certain resources in an extensive manner, or we are overusing it and ignoring those resources, certain other resources. So it talks about the various resources which are there. It talks about exploring those resources. And I have tried to keep it very, very simple. It is very simple. The book is, I have made it so very simple to understand. And yes, it can be applied to any project, any dream, any goal in a structured, simplest way. So that's what my book is all about.
Great. Inward journey, outward journey, inward resource, outward resource. I think most of the time, all of us look at the outward resource because that's what we can easily see. But to see
Absolutely.
inside of you, it takes your mind's eye to look at all the resources that you have. And I think this pandemic time has been a time for us to reflect, because we are not able to go out so much and look at the outside world, but we've been challenged to look inward and see what are the resources that we have that we can, out of those inward resources, produce something tangible which makes a difference to ourselves and the organization that we work, and more importantly, to our customers. Great. So, Ravi, who's the audience for your book? Who's this book targeted at?
Yes, I have kept people in mind that who would be the right audience for this book. And here I can definitely say that people who want to be performer, people who want to be manager, people who want to be a leader, for them, this book is purely, it is dedicated to them. And even it is meant for those people who want to upskill themselves as a performer, as a manager, or as a leader. Now, why I say so? Because if we just try to dissect these words, performer, manager, leader. So all these words, for example, if I take performer, it is perform and ER, manage and ER, lead and ER. So performer for me is someone who performs by excelling on all resources. Manager to me is someone who manages by excelling on all resources, and leader to me is someone who leads by excelling on all resources. So how can we excel on all resources? How should we understand what is my resource? Am I missing on certain resources? So this book is purely dedicated to people who are looking forward to be a better performer, better manager, better leader, or want to be performer, manager, or leader. Because otherwise the common practice is that we are usually either ignorant or we are unaware of our own resources, or we overuse certain resources. So before getting into some dream, before getting into some emotion, before getting into some project or goal, let me sit back and count on my resources and identify that which are the resources I should be working upon. So it is that is my audience that I'm looking forward to add value.
Great. I think we all need to be performers, and organization look to performers. And so this will be a invaluable resource for anybody in the pharma industry, in the field force, in marketing, because as you rightly said, it's our perception that we project onto the world, and because of which we produce either good results or not so good results. And I hope that people will be challenged to take up this resource. This is important because I believe that any resource that's written should be written by a practitioner who has been there, done that. So as you said that you spent many years as a sales professional with one of the top multinational companies, and you would have learned the best of the sales practices and techniques and personal development. And I'm sure you have condensed all of that learning into this book to give back to the industry and the people working in the industry, something that will help them to become more of what they have within themselves. So great. I love this visual as well, that the ordinary wheels can't take off your extraordinary flight. I think we all want to have an extraordinary flight, but we sometimes don't know how. So what's the purpose behind this book, Ravi?
So yes, I am working on two purposes as far as this book is concerned. First, for sure, is out of my 25 years of experience, I have tried to put in certain learnings here. I believe that even if one or two things can appeal anybody, any individual, that is a purpose which I'm working for. I'll definitely say that it works well. Second one, definitely a bigger purpose is that I want to make a big money out of this book. I want this book to sell more. I want to make a big money. And I want to put in all this money that I earn out of this book to the creatures, to the species with whom we are sharing the planet. Because there is an unfortunate part there that born as humans, we are a superior species of this planet. And somewhere we all have a responsibility and are owners towards all other species. It's very unfortunate that every year we are missing, and many species, hundreds of species are getting extinct. Somewhere we have ownership towards that. I want to contribute my entire earnings out of this book to destitute animals, and that will be my small effort towards the society. And that is what a bigger purpose for this book also is.
Great, that's wonderful. That so I would appeal to our audience that they really take up this book, read it, because not only will they understand what are internal resources, so that they don't keep staring that the lack of external resources, but in doing this, they will also be helping in your project of helping destitute animals. I think that's a wonderful gesture. In fact, that is what appealed to me, that somebody would think about all the other creatures on this planet, and we have plenty of them, any city, any village, who are not cared for, and they definitely need to be looked after. So it's been great talking to you, Ravi, about your book and the noble cause that you have taken up through this book to venture out. And I think as professionals, we all need to grow, not just in our designations, but as better human beings, which is, I think, the more important part of it, that when we recognize that we are not the sole occupants of this planet, but there are other creatures along with us who need to be. And if we are to claim in any way to be superior, that can only be demonstrated by our care for the other creatures on this planet. So great, wonderful talking to you, Ravi. And I wish you all the success in your venture, especially this book. And I hope this book will be read widely by pharma industry professionals. and I'm sure even outside the industry. So thank you, Ravi, for the time. It's been great talking to you.